Good morning or day to all of you. Hey y'all, it's Gord, your hurting hippie, and damn, I feel good today. Damn, I feel good today. I had to repeat that because I don't say that a lot. A shout out to Sikhs. A shout out to Sikhs because we've been talking about anxiety. And I didn't have a topic today. I'm flying by the seat of my pants, but I do think I'm going to at least touch on it because, wow, I'm an incredibly anxious person, and I'm celebrating right now a little bit of freedom from anxiety due to quite a few different things. But first, to give you a past on it, I suffer PTSD from some pretty traumatic events well over a decade ago. And actually I've had some trauma almost every decade through my life, large trauma that I guess each time I got through, I got a little weaker, but I got through, and I never knew I was getting weaker until the final one just broke me, and I broke 12 years ago. I broke completely. I've been putting myself together however I can ever since. Back when I broke, for the first couple of years, there we were working on a family, trying to get everything going, a new wife, all this stuff, and my doctor put me on pharmaceuticals. I'll never forget him saying, because I said no. He said, Gord, you're suffering severe depression, clinical or whatever anxiety, really bad stuff, and we need to get to it. We need to get you to a psychiatrist. We need to get you on these medicines. And I said, I really don't need these medicines. There's got to be a way to do it without. And I'll never forget, I let him do this. He told me, he says, Gord, if you had pneumonia, you would not say, I really don't like pharmaceuticals. Please don't give me any penicillin. You'd be begging for the penicillin because you want to live. And anxiety and depression can take people away. So you need to be careful. And that scared me into it, and I went on pharmaceuticals, on an 8-year mess of my life. And I don't even know how or why it went by so fast. I'm trying to go by it fast too, because reliving it is not a helpful thing for me. But at the height of the pharmaceuticals, I was not doing well. It had changed me. First of all, I have a bad liver. I was told in 2003 I had 2 years to live. I beat that. But my liver is sensitive, and these things were bothering my liver. And he kept changing it up to a different one and a different one. Wellbutrin, Cipralex. It didn't matter. It was having two effects on me. It was putting me in a lot of pain. Stomach pain, back pain, liver pain, kidney pain. But it was also really affecting my personality. I'm an easygoing, love everybody, never quick to temper guy. And I turned into an asshole. I was mean to my wife many times a day. I don't blame her that she's gone. Because yes, finally, a year before she left me, I started to titrate. I finally talked my doctor into cannabis. Cannabis was working, but this other medicine was getting in the way, and I talked him into getting me off of all of these. But he says 8 years on these medicines. Cipralex is going to take you well over a year to get off, so let's first get off the other things, which could take a few months to get off. It was 1.5 years, 2 years titrating off of all this medicine. And then Cipralex was 9 months of withdrawals. It's not for the faint of heart. it just about took me away. It was rough. So I'll never go back. Those medicines work for some people, so don't get me wrong. I am not saying don't do it. I'm not saying do it. I'm saying be really careful, be really selective, try other options first. If that's an option, you need to always deal with your doctor. But that was that. When I finally got off them all, it was too late for my marriage. I had already lost all the trust and respect that I had gained in the first couple of years of knowing her. And even now, there's very little trust, and I get that. I am the old hippie I always was. In fact, maybe a little bit more, because now I can't get back to work. I'm still a broken man. But what happened just recently is kind of interesting. I don't know how permanent it is, or how temporary it is, or what it is. I just know I feel better. I've been sharing about Dave, but also for the past month and a half, I'm not sure if you guys all noticed, but I had an awful lot of things that were really eating at me. Problems in my past that I had not dealt with. Issues that my past had created that I had not completed. And this was the fall that I was going to tie all those loose ends. And just the fear of jumping back into that fray was causing me probably the worst anxiety I've had in about 3 years. 3 years ago, I had my son Gordy move from Edmonton to Calgary temporarily to help look after me because I was suicidal. For the first time in my whole life, I was suicidal. And I had direct, I was talking to the hotline a couple of times a week, sometimes a couple of times a day. So I didn't want to get back into that, but in the past month and a half, it felt like I was on those pharmaceuticals again, and that's kind of why I went back to that story. I kind of felt I was quick to anger and quick to cry. And anger is not a good thing on me. I'm not good with it. I don't deal with it well. And I was seeing it, I was noticing it, but I wasn't solving it. And then Pasha sat me down and told me that I'm starting to scare him, that he can't deal with the tears, and even though I kept the anger away from him mostly, he saw it. And just the honesty of a young boy stepping in to say, something has to be done, this is tough, Dad, just threw me positively. No, normally I get something that says, hey, Gord, you gotta make a change here, Gord, this is bad, or Gord, we don't like this. Usually when something like that happens, there's a panic attack. There is an out and out, oh my God, the sky is falling kind of. But this time I just came to, I hope it's a long-term, but maybe short-term epiphany. I was no longer hurting myself through my anxiety. I was hurting the young man that needs, if anything, needs less pressure at this young age, just entering teenagehood. He turned 11 this week. I love him for doing that for me. I love him for sitting me down, for smartening me up. Is anxiety gone? No. But there was this, not only a must, but an absolute, you better get a grip on it. And so I told Dave, don't just F off. Get away from my family. And I stood my ground. And for the last 3-4 days, every negative thought that has entered my mind, I have not given it time or due. It doesn't deserve its due. It isn't real. Get the frick out of my head and move on. I've got things to do. And I started counting. I started counting my positives in my life. And I started looking back as to what, if anything, have I done to improve since those awful, awful times? Well, I even go back 1 year, and these things that bothered me every fall are gone. I took care of them in the past couple of weeks. My monetary situation is better than it ever has been. No, I don't have a vehicle, but that could show up. That could show up. My relationship with my family is maybe better than it ever has been. The respect I get as a dad has been right up there. My channel's going well. I'm not behind. I'm not in debt. My life is pretty good. What the hell am I doing being anxious and sad? So it's been a couple of days. I haven't had a single tear. Maybe a tear of happiness yesterday at Pasha's birthday party, which, by the way, was absolutely fantastic. And that was another thing that was just eating at me. I had not been responsible for his birthday party for a couple of years, and it came off beautifully. He had a great time. They had a great time. I had a great time. No, it's been a really great fall, and a fall from anxiety. Will it still be there? I know it's still there. I know Dave's lurking around the corner, but the more I'm aware, the more I'm understanding, the better I can handle it. And I told myself, the most important thing was keep those thoughts, the sadness, the anger, keep it away from Pasha. He doesn't need it. He doesn't deserve it. He shouldn't see it. But if I can go that far, he's with me a lot. If I can go that far, and I can, by burying that stuff, well, then I should be able to do it just all the time. Will it come out once in a while? I'm positive it will. I'm positive I'll still have some issues. Nothing gets solved. Like Seeks said to me, there is no cure for this. Maybe one day through gene therapy, through improving the indescript cannabinoids that are found in pot, like CBC, CBD, CBN, CBG. Maybe there's some mix of those, some tweak of those that down the road they're going to find, aha, we've solved anxiety. But until then, it's on us. We have to own it. We have to take it. And I'm not saying any of you can or will be able to do what I just did. And I don't know how permanent this is, but the hippie of a couple of months ago is back. The hippie of years ago is back. And I hope that I can stick to it. My friends, thank you for listening to me. Thank you for being a part of this channel and this life, and I hope to continue for a very, very long time. I'm going to outlive YouTube, I promise you that. Your silly hippie forgot. Little known facts. I have some new ones. Friends, in Svalbard, a remote Norwegian island, it is illegal to die, yes, because bodies are unable to be buried safely due to the permafrost on the ground. If you are about to die, they fly you back to mainland Norway to pass on there. Have they not heard of cremation? Costa Coffee employs Gennaro Palicia as a coffee taster, who has had his tongue insured for $10 million in 2009. I'm a good coffee drinker. Give me the 10 million. Johnny Cash took only 3 voice lessons before his teacher advised him to stop taking lessons and to never deviate from his natural voice. And I'm glad they did that. I love Johnny Cash, and I'm not a country guy. I love Johnny Cash. There was a real man. Peace and cheers, friends. Love and harmony.